welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Nightmarionne, which is the name I'm going to go with. I know people also call them the Nightmarionne, but that's longer, so... But regardless, today I'm going to be talking about Nightmarionne, which is the newest addition to my series, What the Fuck Are They? Now, Nightmarionne is an interesting case because he's incredibly elusive, so let's start off with a summary. He first appears in a teaser for the FNAF or Halloween DLC that was titled Don't Wake the Baby, a reference to Markipliers' reaction to the puppet in FNAF 2. In the teaser, a Freddy plush floats in the abyss, but classic Scott move, brighten the image and one of my personal favourite FNAF teasers appears. Nightmarionne is looming over the bed, his eyes watching us, visible through all the distortion. He then obviously appears in the DLC itself, where he replaces Nightmare, using the same mechanics, difficulty and similar jump scares, which will be important later. He then next appears in Ultimate Custom Night, getting some very interesting voice lines that I will be going through soon. His mechanic is one that I am all too familiar with. He slowly appears in your office, and if you have your mouse hovering over him for too long, then he jump scares you. But unfortunately, too long is about 3 to 5 seconds, which when panicking about a different threat or blinded by a distraction, is a nightmare. Plus the fact that he can appear over important parts of the screen, namely the camera button, mask button, helpy spots, and literally everywhere else in the office, Nightmarionne makes for a challenging enemy to someone off guard and to experienced players, which I tell myself I am. He then next appears in Help Wanted 1, with his own level in the Night Terrors category, where his creepy-ass tentacle fingers appear also literally everywhere, and he follows soon after, so you need to shine your light on them to make them go away. Oh, and you've also got to fend him off in the hallways, where his only teller is eyes in what must be the dustiest hallway ever. So once again, a very difficult opponent. He doesn't technically appear again after this, but that's only referring to him in his former glory. He is then seen throughout Security Breach, Ruin, and Help Wanted 2 as plushes, hidden out of sight, watching. He also appears in likeness through the alpha staff bots, painted to look like Nightmarionne instead of the normal staff bots' puppet-esque appearance. They have the words "In Your Dreams" painted on their chests. They lurk down in the lower levels, including the sunken FNAF 6 location, meaning there's a decent chance that they're also under Vanny's control like the main staff bots, as they're also guarding the raisin that is Burn Trap, which she was likely involved with due to the recharge station, the bed and the graffiti. TLDR is, Nightmarionne went from a Nightmare reskin in a, at the time, non-canon DLC, to a looming presence in the mainline games that kinda looks like it's leading to at least something somewhat big soon, which personally I can't wait for. He's terrifying and I love it. He's like that mini-boss who just immediately rocks your shit because he's surprisingly difficult. Now, onto the theories. 1. Nightmarionne equals agony. Starting with a very popular theory, the title explains it pretty well. So, in terms of evidence, we first look at his design in general. Nightmarionne is made of these strange black tentacles that wrap around themselves to form this vaguely humanoid shape. Now in the books, we're told that agony is shown through this black viscous liquid, which, at least visually, isn't far off from the strange mystery substance that makes up Nightmarionne. Plus, the tear streaks on his mask, which we hear in the books is another tell that something is infected with agony. In Ultimate Custom Night, one of Nightmarionne's voice lines gives us some evidence for this.
Hide in the fearful reflection of what you have created.
This quote is a direct call-out to William for killing Charlie, and, by proxy, creating the puppet. This line also alludes to Nightmarionne being a byproduct of Charlie's death, lending some credit to the theory that Nightmarionne is made of agony, likely Charlie's. Unfortunately, his other voice lines only allude to death and nightmares, but those will be important later, worry not. Now, I'm not able to find anything that says this theory couldn't work, and considering the absolute delight that is Eleanor is also apparently an agony creature, it's not implausible that Nightmarionne could be a construct of agony, whether from Charlie or even the Nightmare experiments. It could go either way. But there's another candidate. 2. Nightmarionne is the crying child. Now, this one's a little more shaky and is mainly just speculation. Design-wise, you can see where they're coming from. They also technically appear in the same game, and they share the same pronouns. But there's also counters to all of those points. The design is meant to resemble the puppet, not the crying child. There's not much evidence that links them except the concept being interesting, and pronouns in FNAF are very confusing. with the soul and the robot having separate pronouns, and some animatronics just seeing gender on the form and writing a big old question mark next to it. So this one's only actually in here because it's a fun little theory that I wanted to mention. 3. Nightmarionne equals nightmare. Now, this one's also a little confusing, because personally, I can't tell if this is a series of coincidences and errors, or an actual theory, so feel free to give your thoughts about this one, because I'm actually not 100% sure. So, the evidence is as follows. Nightmarionne replaces Nightmare in the DLC. A plush in Ruin is called Nightmare despite being Nightmarionne, and they are often both credited with having the same role, that being FNAF's take on a character representing death incarnate, or the idea of death. Now, same with the agony theory, there's not actually anything disproving this, so my take on this one is a big maybe. Could be coincidences, could be clues, I'm not actually sure. If you've got anything that says either way, feel free to let me know. 4. Nightmarionne is death itself. Now, I know I literally just mentioned this, but it is technically its own theory, so we'll go through it now. Now, Nightmarionne being an embodiment of death is an interesting idea. Design-wise, he's incredibly similar to the common Western depiction of a Grim Reaper. Skeletal frame, black and white colour scheme, skull-looking mask, and a generally spooky vibe. Slap a sickle in his hands and he's winning the lookalike contest. As mentioned before, he also takes Nightmare's place, whose appearance in FNAF 4 is commonly thought to represent the crying child dying. Now technically he might not be death itself, but more of a representation of death in a way that reflects Charlie's representation of life, with her giving life to the FNAF 1 gang. Now, this also works with this theory and with him being Charlie's agony, a quite literal God fucking damn it. A quite literal reflection of what Will created, but him being a reflection of death also works with his many appearances. He's hunting William, same as Charlie was, following him wherever he and the deaths that surround him appear, which, let me just say, is a cool concept. This guy is freaky, and the idea of him hunting William down throughout the games in the background, very cool. But this guy is freaky, and if I can see more of him in the future, I will not be complaining. Now, earlier I mentioned the alpha staff bots who have In Your Dreams written on them, and I realised once I'd finished, recording and editing this video, that I hadn't actually made a section about, what that meant. So, here it is. This little section is going to be me proposing some ideas on who that might be from and who it might be directed to. So, firstly, Vanny taunting the puppet. Now, it's not actually clear if they've ever met, but considering the puppet theming of the staff bots, it's not entirely off the table, plus considering her control over both the normal staff bots and the alpha staff bots, there's a chance. It could also be Nightmarionne himself taunting either William, Glitchtrap, or Charlie. But again, I am not completely sure because there has never actually been any follow-up evidence to the In Your Dreams, so all of this is speculation. So if you have a potential answer for this or a different idea to me, let me know. 5. My opinion. Now I know this isn't technically what you're here for theories, but, it's my video, if I can throw my opinion in here I will. So, I personally really like the theory that Nightmarionne is Charlie's agony. I think personally it stands up the best out of the theories that I've seen, and in general sounds more plausible. It would explain the subtle obsession with William, the watching, and the design. Overall, it just kinda works. Also, in Ultimate Custom Night, Charlie herself says, "I'm not scared of you anymore."
I recognize you, but I'm not afraid of you. Not anymore.
Which lines up with Nightmarionne coming into contact with William and then his continued appearances after. Meaning, if Charlie, the puppet, and Nightmarionne are all connected, Charlie getting over her fear of William either allowed or caused Nightmarionne to start pursuing William, which also explains why he's so damn aggressive in Ultimate Custom Night, literally appearing over the overlays. All this to say, I think this theory is probably the most likely. Well, this was way more structured than the last video like this, so it's a win in my books. As I always say at the end of these, if you've got a different theory or anything you think I've missed, let me know in the comments as long as you're chill. And on that note, let's wrap this up. Your reward for watching, of course, like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and also go check out my shorts if you're interested in the idea of me fighting every single FNAF boss, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye!